All right, Bri, I don't know if you're as excited as I am about next year's football season, but the Fan Fest absolutely fired me up. We got to talk about that today on the show.
Oh my gosh, I know. And we have to get Brian Steinmetz on to talk a little Temple football too. And then the Big Five, hello, the award banquets, it was insane. I can't wait, but first, let's take a timeout. Hello and welcome to Temple Timeout, the official web series of Temple Updates, the Sports Desk. I'm Bri Hofsass, that's Vince Call. We're talking Fan Fest, Big Five basketball, and we have a special guest coming on to talk some Temple football. Vince, let's get right into it.
Yeah, Temple football's Cherry and White Fan Fest took place on Saturday. And before we get into any predictions for the season, because we're fired up about it, our reporter Adam Miller soaked in the fan experience. So let's just get a recap of how everything was.
For most schools, spring football is strictly about business. But at the Cherry and White practice, there's a little bit more to it. And by that, I mean bouncy houses, mini golf, basketball, and more. But I need to get some advice to know which ones I should try first. Unfortunately, the bouncy house was full, so I had to try my hand in a few other things.
Not the best golfer in the world, as you guys can see. We'll try better next time. Yeah, you know, I'd like to think the ball was a little deflated. Wasn't me.
Was that 0 for 3?
0 for 3.
Now, outside some of my problems with the games, the atmosphere around the Temple Cherry and White practice was electric.
You come here in April, spring practice, this many people out here. Everybody's excited about the next coming season. This is awesome.
The Temple Cherry and White game definitely gives fans the perfect opportunity to kick their feet up and enjoy the ride.
Now I just gotta wait 365 more days until I get to redeem myself. Reporting for Temple Update, I'm Adam Miller.
And like we mentioned on Temple Update yesterday, this practice was not a Cherry and White scrimmage. Instead, the team used the practice as a work day, and almost all new coaches on this staff, as we know. And Rod Carey said where he comes from, he doesn't tackle too much in the spring.
I usually don't tackle in the spring. And, you know, this is the spring games with the scholarships being 85 and those type of things, we made a decision years ago that this was going to be a work day for us because it's one of 15 that we get.
It was great. You know, a lot of people came out. It was good to see, you know, pulling up in the bus, looking down. Oh, people really came, you know. So it's always good just coming, seeing a nice fan base coming out on days like this.
I don't think this is our best practice by a long shot today. And, you know, different environment for the guys. All you guys were here, fans, and players come back, former players. So they were amped up. We learned something about ourselves today.
Now, there might not have been tackling, but this game still pumped us up, and we'd like to welcome Brian Steinmetz on to do some predicting for Temple football. All right, Brian, since you're the guest, I'll give you the first question. What do you think is this team's biggest strength?
Yeah, for the biggest strength, I'm going to have to go with the leadership that's carried on from last season. Anthony Russo coming back as quarterback, and Sean Bradley and Isaiah Wright, playmakers on both sides of the football. And to have learned under the senior class that just graduated, the most winningest class in Temple football history, for that junior class to be as tight as they are, and to have learned under such good friends and teammates of the senior class, I really think that's going to translate at the end, during the season.
Yeah. If I had to get the biggest strength here, I'm not to undermine yours or anything, but I think if you ask anybody around this Temple program what the best position group on this team, it's the linebackers, no doubt about it. So much experience coming back on this team. You got Chappelle Russell, Sean Bradley, and Sam Franklin. They're all going to be no doubters as a single digit this year. And then they return a ton of experience. You had Isaiah Graham Mobley, who's a sophomore, coming back. William Quenku. They're going to take so much pressure off of the D-line, the D-backs. Having this good of a linebacker class takes away a running game of most offenses that they're going to face this year. So linebackers every day of the week.
Those are two really good points, guys. But on the flip side, What do you think are some of their biggest weaknesses that they're really going to have to focus on and put in that extra work this offseason?
Yeah, I think the weakness here, I'm going to have to go with running back. I think, you lose so much in Raquel Armstead. You lose not only a great running back, a leader on the team. He's been going at it since his breakout year, sophomore year. And you lose a guy like that, and there's not much coming after him, right? You got Jagger Gardner, who is kind of the next guy in line. He's a senior this year, and he's had a ton of opportunities, but he hasn't really shown like the spark that most people are going to want out of that position. After that, you look at guys like Tylee Grainer to come in, make an impact. You got a new signee with Edward Sadie, a couple younger guys at running back, but they're going to need to figure that out because, like we said, Russo, if he's going to have a big season this year, he's going to need some running backs behind him.
Yeah. For me, I don't have to go with. No disrespect whatsoever, but Rod Carey is just a big question mark for me. He hasn't spoken too much with the media, outside of like a skeleton outline of what everybody says. Right. I have a source inside the team that's telling me that he's not a big rah-rah kind of guy, unlike the last couple of coaches. With Jeff Collins and Matt Rule, and we'll have to see how that translates with the team with a new system as a head coach. Yeah.
All right, and Vince, you mentioned Russo and how the running backs are going to really impact him having a big year. This year there was a lot of quarterback controversy, and it does seem like Russo is going to get the starting position. Do you guys think that he's going to be able to break Philip Walker's single-season passing record?
I'll take this one. I think absolutely yes. I think if he's going to be so put it in perspective. He didn't play 4 games last year, and he was about 200 yards from breaking the record, right? So if he's in there all season long, which fans expect him to be, pending he's healthy and all things like that, he's definitely going to break the record. I think Philip Walker wasn't even really known for his passing, right? He broke a lot of records that. We could say it like this: the Temple football quarterback records aren't the most prestigious around town, and I think to have a pocket passer like Anthony Russo, he'll definitely break that record for sure. What do you think, Bri?
You just said it. Anthony Russo is a pocket passer. Philip Walker likes to run the football, kind of like a Russell Wilson type character.
Yep.
But Anthony Russo doesn't like to do that. He likes to stay in the pocket, take the hits. So I think based on that alone, along with what you said about him playing all games this season, hopefully, that he definitely will break the record.
All right, well, there is still a lot of time, a lot of practice, and a lot of tackles that are going to happen before football season officially starts on Broad Street. Brian, thank you. It was a pleasure having you on the desk as always.
It was a pleasure being here. Thanks, guys.
All right, now it seems like football is gearing up while college basketball in Philadelphia is finally winding down. The Big Five just hosted their annual Big Five banquet, and who else stole the show other than Mr. Big Five himself, Fran Dunphy, when he accepted the Big Five Coach of the Year award, as well as getting inducted into the Big Five Hall of Fame.
So I appreciate the fact that I got a chance to play in this building, to go to school in Philadelphia, to work in Philly for all of but 6.5 years of my life, 5 years in Washington, D.C., 18 months in the United States Army. I've been in Philadelphia. I look again into the audience and I'm looking for somebody as lucky as me. I don't see them out there. I know there's a lot of luck out there, but there's nobody luckier than me. The things that have happened to me, I just no one should be this fortunate. There's nothing like Philadelphia basketball, nothing like the Big Five, nothing like the Palestra, to be honest with you.
And Fran Dunphy wasn't the only Owl taking home some hardware. Shiz Alston received first team All Big Five honors. Nate Pierre-Louis received most improved player as well as earning second team honors. Quentin Rose also had second team honors, and Devondre Perry took home the Scholar Athlete of the Year award.
Yeah, and if we flip over to the women's side, Aaliyah Butts and Mia Davis were chosen to the first team All Big Five team. We got Marissa Mackins from the women's team winning Rookie of the Year, so the future is bright with that for sure. Not to mention Amani Mayo from the women's team. Amani Mayo won the Scholar Athlete of the Year award.
All right, and that's going to do it for this edition of Temple Timeout. As always, be sure to follow us at @TU_SportsDesk for all of your Temple update, Temple Athletics needs to knows.
Yeah, and we're coming to the end of the road, unfortunately, with this season of Temple Timeout. And don't miss next week's episode. It's like we said, our last episode, the last episode of the semester. But for Bri Hofsass, I'm Vince Call. Thanks for watching.